You read the explanation. It seems clear. The teacher walks through the example, step by step. You follow the logic. It makes sense. Then you try the next problem. And suddenly, nothing works. The rule you just understood no longer works. The example in the book feels slightly different. Another explanation appears online. It sounds convincing, but it contradicts the first one. Now the idea feels unstable. You return to the page. Same words, same diagram, same formula. Nothing changed. Yet the meaning keeps shifting. One moment it seems clear. The next moment it collapses again. You pause. Something feels wrong. Not missing, just unstable. This feeling has a name: confusion. Confusion is usually treated as a problem. If a student feels confused, the assumption is simple. Something is missing. More explanation is needed. More examples. More practice. Eventually, the missing pieces will appear. Learning is imagined like this. Remove the confusion. Then learning can begin. This explanation feels reasonable, but it misses something important. Confusion often appears right before real understanding. Think about moments when something finally made sense. Just before clarity appeared, the idea often felt more confusing, not less. More. Different explanations seemed possible. Examples pointed in different directions. The structure refused to settle. One interpretation almost worked, but another example broke it. Another interpretation explained that case, but failed somewhere else. The concept remained unstable. Then, suddenly, everything aligned. The confusion disappeared. The idea held together. Understanding appeared. Pause the moment just before insight. Pause the moment just after. The information is the same, but the experience is not. So confusion may not be the absence of learning. It may be the moment when meaning has not yet stabilized. Perhaps understanding is not mainly about how much you know. Perhaps it is about how many meanings remain possible. Before clarity, several interpretations are active at once. A definition can be read in different ways. An example can suggest different rules. A formula can imply different structures. Each interpretation seems plausible, but none of them organizes the others. They compete. Quietly, the mind tests them. Some interpretations explain certain examples. Others collapse when applied more broadly. Eventually, one interpretation stabilizes. When that happens, everything aligns. The definition, example, and diagram reinforce the same structure. The alternatives fade. The idea stops shifting. Understanding appears. Confusion is when interpretations are still competing. Why does confusion help learning? Because competition reveals structure. 3 processes often occur during confusion. Exploration. Confusion forces the mind to explore multiple interpretations. Without this exploration, alternative meanings remain invisible. The mind would accept the first explanation it encounters. Confusion keeps the search open. Error testing. Competing interpretations are tested against examples. Some interpretations explain certain cases, others collapse under new situations. The incorrect structures slowly disappear. Structural alignment. Eventually, one interpretation organizes the others. The definition, example, and rule reinforce the same structure. The idea stops shifting. understanding appears. Confusion is uncomfortable. The mind prefers stability, so learners often try to escape confusion quickly. They memorize procedures, they repeat explanations, they look for a rule that works immediately. Clarity appears faster, but the structure is fragile. The interpretation was never fully tested. Understanding becomes shallow. Too little confusion can create an interpretation lock. An interpretation stabilizes too early, and alternative meanings are never explored. This pattern appears wherever learning requires meaning to stabilize. The structure repeats itself in many different situations. Learning. A student reads the same explanation again and again. The words seem clear, but the meaning refuses to settle. One example suggests one rule. Another example suggests something slightly different. The concept keeps shifting. Several interpretations remain active. Then suddenly, one structure organizes them all. Nothing new was added. The interpretation stabilized. Problem solving. A difficult problem often begins in confusion. Several strategies seem possible. Each path works for a moment, then it fails. The situation feels chaotic. Different interpretations compete. You test them one by one. Eventually, one interpretation explains the whole situation. The irrelevant paths disappear. The solution suddenly becomes obvious. Creative thinking. Creative work often begins without a stable meaning. Ideas appear in fragments. Different interpretations of the same idea compete. One direction seems promising. Then another possibility appears. The structure shifts again. Nothing fully holds. But the exploration continues. Eventually, one interpretation organizes the fragments. The idea stabilizes. What once looked like confusion becomes a finished concept. We usually treat confusion as an obstacle, something to eliminate as quickly as possible. But learning rarely begins with clarity. Before understanding appears, meaning must remain flexible. Different interpretations must compete. Examples must challenge them. Structures must be tested. Confusion is the space where this process happens. Understanding feels clear, but clarity is built on confusion. Confusion is not the opposite of learning. It is often the moment just before it.